Welcome to Journey Through the Gate, your paranormal portal podcast, as we delve into the many questions and wonders brought on by the supernatural experience. What's on the other side of the gate? Let's find out together.
I told you I love Halloween. It's just another excuse, and I'm not muted. Look at that. Booyah. Second booyah for the night. I almost got that music thing down smooth, but if you knew the controls, you're up here, again, it's near impossible to get smooth, but I'm working on it. So I did the little film with all of these terrific spell scenes in them and the lore. Like when we were growing up, I'd see everybody talking about Bell Book and Candle, fantastic flick. Bewitched, how much did we love that? And all our crazy relatives, right? How many Aunt Edna, it's so good to see you, honey. Hello, Uncommon Belief. Hey, Glenn. Hey, Vixen Doe. And hey, honey. I think Salvador was first in the chat, but I saw that before we came on. Anyway, here's the thing. Steve is quite possibly detained. And I asked our good friend Donny Cho to pop in and sit with us and talk us about spells and curses and that kind of thing. It's kind of funny to discern, spells from, just witchcraft or spell, but it's global through many cultures. So it's a little different. But you can't help it during Halloween. You start looking back at some of these movies and these TV shows that we had. Hello, Eric, my love. How you doing, darling? I was on Eric's show, and I think it's going to come out Wednesday. So catch that, the Unseen Paranormal podcast, and check that out. If you're not listening to that, then you're doing yourself a disservice. Put it on your truck while you're driving. Put it, trying to go to sleep, doing housework at the office, the earbuds, whatever. Get this podcast in your life because he does great interviews, a diverse set of guests, and I was lucky enough to be one this Wednesday. So I think I heard Donnie pop in. Let me get him, and then we'll chat. Okay, good to see you, Aunt Edna. I was actually you popped up into my head. I would say more than 5 or 6 times today, and I was starting to send you out signals. Were you getting signals, Aunt Edna, that we missed you? Hey, Donnie. Oh, look how we look with our harvest orange. Our heart. Can you see? Look how good this looks. See how we've changed I changed it to Halloween orange, the name tags and stuff.
Okay.
It's a big deal.
I like how we contrast each other because on my side of the screen it looks more bluish, and then yours is like more orangish, and
this is true.
And then my background is more like
what is that?
Orangish. It's just a contrast.
Oh, that's I don't know if you guys can see it, but I had to get it. It's actually a candle with a big old spider on it.
Oh no! Did
you see that? It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I like it because it's scary. Spiders scare the shit out of me. That's I'll admit it. I'm big enough to admit it. So Donnie, thank you. Steve is, again, I have not a lot of information. I know he's fine, but he was detained, and he was friend enough to tell me early enough to where I could lean into Donnie, and Donnie was friend enough to say, sure, I'll be right there. So this is what this community is like. Everybody's backing up everybody. So how are you, Donnie? Thank you for coming in short notice.
Sorry, guys. You're stuck with me tonight.
No. We're lucky to have you. Hello, Ann. Hello, darling. Oh, gosh. And let's see. Hold on. Ann is on my head today. Oh, I'm not joking you. This morning before lunch, I remember sometime after, lunchtime around 1 o'clock, I was thinking about you again. Just want feeling like a human again. Healing vibes work. Bless you all. There you go. We love you, darling. I missed you. And like I said, you were on my mind. Isn't that a song? All right, Donnie, thank you for popping in. Tonight, as you can see, we're doing spells. I was talking to the chat about trying to learn how to do this music thing. And on StreamYard, you have 2 sets. Has anybody in here in the chat worked with StreamYard before? Anybody that's got podcasts and everything? Eric, I know you have you do what? OBS, right? You probably still use it. I tried OBS. That thing is, you have to have a degree in engineering to do that shit. The audio alone on OBS made me crazy. I had it working, but then I couldn't hear, like if I called somebody else. I don't know. Never mind. It's not my strong suit, Donnie. But I do pretty good. I just do it the hard way.
I don't know anything about it, and I do look like I just woke up. I was actually kind of unprepared because I was like, oh shoot, I gotta hop
This
on.
was extremely last minute, guys. So we want to thank Donnie for being here. Facing your arachnophobia. Well, I'm not really, I can't take that kind of credit, Vixen. I'm not really facing it. I was just I was more embracing it. You know what I mean? It's like if it scares me and it's not horror, you know what I mean? It's like I'm not into the, you know, slasher stuff and things like that. Okay, Eric is saying he's answering. Thank you for being there, Eric. I appreciate you answering. StreamYard is good and getting better. It is. It is. Now, have you played, Eric? Have you messed around with the music thing where you could have like background music and stuff like that? Apparently, they've put it on here. Wonder if I can show you what I mean. At the very top of this one screen, a whole nother window, you have to leave the chat and go into something called brands. Okay. And that's where you can change the color of the tabs and the nameplates and everything, right? Are you with me so far, Donnie?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's like somebody's put a spell on us. Absolutely. So then you have
Well, that's a topic for tonight.
So yep, and we're definitely getting there. So then they have overlays, okay? And overlay would be something like this. Just in case we want to bake some shut the fuck up cakes, okay? Or some of our other favorites like the Happy Kitty. All these are overlays. You see how it goes over us? Hence the name, I'm guessing. I'm no expert, though. Okay. So, obviously. Then I have other fun ones like this. Look out. I don't know why I love that so much. So I have that. And then I have place for video. So that would be like something longer that's not just a GIF or a solid picture, if that makes sense. So little snippets of video. So let's see. Here's one. It's kind of cool. This one right here. Isn't that nifty? It's slick, isn't it?
I like that one.
I like that one a lot. It's one of my faves.
Is that from a movie?
You know, I don't know. You want to see it again?
Yeah.
It says Halloween Town.
I kind of feel like that's from a movie.
Yeah. It's slick, right?
Yeah, that looks cool.
So I have those, but you don't realize how many you have to go through till you can find one that kind of hangs for a minute. It isn't just like a repeat. Most gifts are just repeats. Yeah. So this one is like the best because it goes on for a while.
Yeah, I was looking at that before.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? Yeah.
I think that was from a video game, actually. I was like looking really hard at that landscape. I was like, that landscape looks familiar.
It could be totally. I mean, I see a lot of going in there and looking for snippets for like GIFs and, you know, not just illustrations, but footage and Pixabay and VidEasy and all these other things where you can go in stock footage. You know what I mean? Some people pay an awful lot to go in and, you know, with one of these really good stock footage places, you know, but I've been in there and sometimes they don't have what I'm looking for. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's hard. So then you'll have little gifts like this, which is just a cut out of an old movie. This is, I believe this is Veronica Lake. I'll play it again. I know it's Veronica Lake, but I believe the name of the movie was I Married a Witch. Am I correct, chat? Does anybody know? Let's see. There's a delay, so it'll be a minute, and then we'll start getting answers. Does that say Bush Tucker? What's a Bush Tucker M8 Sapphire? Did I miss something, Donnie? Are you keep track of this? What's going on?
I have no idea. I'm just as lost as you are.
Let's see. Let's see what everybody's saying. Hello, Glenn. How you doing? Need to play CCRs. I put a spell on you for the thing. Oh my gosh. If I could. I mean, that's just fantastic. And the old one and Black Magic and all that other stuff. But again, copyright. You can't do it. So I have to find this stuff in the audio library for YouTube because we want to stay kosher. So anyway, getting back to the whole thing, you had the overlays. Then we did the videos and the GIFs, right? Then you have background changes. So I can have like the gate with the crows, or I have just the gate where the gates opened up and here we are. Just kind of cool. But the music, tell me if you can hear this because I've never done this on the live while we're on here. Let's see. Hold on one second. I love this song. This song, in case you've ever wondered, there's a couple of people that use this song that I really like a lot. And if you recognize it, you'll know. But if you don't, then never mind. So, but anyway, the song is called World War Outer Space, and the name of the band is Audio Hertz. Great name, right? Let's see if you can
Audio
hear
Hertz. Hertz or Hurt?
this. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's really low. It's good, right? So you can hear that. Chat, can you hear that? Give me a thumbs up or a 5-5. So, it's a bad jam, isn't it? It's almost like if anybody ever had, or their dad or granddad had the dog in the back seat with his head was on a spring, and when the car was going, it would just, that's what it reminds me of. It was badass. But can they hear it? Are they answering?
Yeah, I think they can hear
What
it.
is that racket, Blue said?
Yeah.
Unseen says he likes it. And Edna said her husband thinks he married a witch. So anyway, that's the whole purpose, I believe, for it being here.
Yeah, this really sounds like video game music to me.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It does. And it's
I
good
like
opening music
I
and
like
all
it,
that.
but yeah.
But I think that's why they give it to you, so you can have it on in the background in case you want it like on a loop. And they give you some songs, and then you can load down your own. But so anyway, I'm working with it. I'm trying to see if we can.
You can't just
good
put
out
on
of it.
any song, right?
Thank you, Aunt.
Like,
Huh?
There's a lot of rules. You can't just put on any song. Right?
No, I get all of my stuff from he may had Aunt Edna, would that be such a bad thing? You know what I mean? It's like everybody in here understands what I mean when I say that. Your intent and everything else. One person's going to get called a witch, the next person's going to get called a healer, or a gypsy witch, or a granny witch, or a herbalist, or it's labels, right? It's funny. Collecting crystals again. That's great. So anyway, tonight is spells. Now, Donnie, before we get into it, you're completely jumping in this, and I appreciate you yet again. I do, big time, because you're the only person I know I can call 10 minutes for a show, and you're ready to roll. Did you see any of the opening, the little pictures and stuff I did of different movies where they were doing spells and things like that? You probably don't have a lot of knowledge on older, like 1940s and 50s movies. Like, did that Veronica Lake one look familiar to you at all? Had you seen that? Or
I think there was something you showed me a couple weeks back.
it could have been.
I have no familiarity at all with any of those movies, or like much about spells in general.
Nothing. So not at all. Like, what about curses or moving energy? Or things like that in tradition, or in even in video games. It's in video games all over the place, is it not?
I mean, I'm pretty sure they're real. I think curses are very real. I think sometimes people underestimate them, and they get themselves into trouble.
Good point. And also, like I was saying, just popped into my head. You know so much about the video games and things. It's all in video games: magic, spells, extra, superpowers, or anything like that. That whole thing. There's a lot of that, isn't there?
Yeah, it's like having a cheat code, right? That's the point of magic, isn't it? Like, if life was a video game, then practicing magic and casting spells would be applying a cheat code.
Is there any games out there that actually uses curses as a weapon, or as a whatever you would call it, like add-ons, whatever you call them?
Yes, lots and lots.
See.
Lots.
So
it's a trope in video games.
It's a what?
It's a trope. It's like, it's very common, and it's like all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost a cliche.
Hang on one second. Here you go. Blue's saying something. No, Donnie, not without paying royalties to either BMI or that's it. And if you use the recommended music from YouTube Audio Library, then you're good to go. Because artists put their stuff on there, and like the only thing is you don't mention them, tell who it is, put it in the description, however you want to do it. I always try to
So
name
you
them
can get
as
some
I go.
stuff in there. Okay.
Yeah. And you
All
go in there and you put in, you get to pick for, it's very hard to find stuff, especially to fine tune it. No pun intended. But to, like, if you're looking for something, like say tonight, I was looking for something mystical, magical, you know, something that hasn't been played to death on every haunted show there is. I mean, there's only so much paranormal music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can put in mood. So if you want ambient or cinematic or sad, you know, inspirational, and you just look through this vat of songs that have these obscure names. So in most time, the name that isn't even describing what the song sounds and feels like. So basically, you go through and you listen to each one. And if I get it, like sometimes I'll get it in like 10 notes where I'm like, no, that's not it. That's not it. You know, already I'm nope. And that, ooh, wait
Did
a
you get
minute.
like classic songs off there?
There's classic, if you mean like Shine on Harvest Moon or stuff like that, you know,
Or
but you
whatever
can't
would
get,
constitute like.
there's no K-pop. I can assure you that. I'm pretty sure there's stuff in there that feels like it could be, but it's not going to be like a cover.
What about stuff from like the 80s or the 70s? Like, can you just get some songs, like some classic songs off there?
Usually there are new artists on there.
Yeah.
So you can get stuff with vocals, but it's not going to be like any kind of like a karaoke thing where you can just pick up like the Eagles, you know, Peaceful Easy Feeling or something, and it's not going to happen. But there'll be new stuff that other artists have put out, and depending on the license that you have, you can use that song, and some you can use it for personal use only, and others you can use it on shows like this, or then there's a bigger one if you're going to put it in a movie or a video game. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So there's also like a pocket you got to stay in. So it's hard to find stuff that just, you know what I mean? So there you go. All right. So what I was asking you about was I played a little video, and I'll tell you what, why don't we play it again, and I'll name off, and the chat can name off the movies if you remember them, because I'm pretty sure, is that not Veronica Lake? Did they put up the name of that movie? And Edna, what's the name of that movie? I'm pretty sure it's I Married a Witch, but I could be off. The other one is Bell Book and Candle, and it's absolutely fascinating. You want to see it? I'll show it again. Might as well, right? Here we go. I'll describe it as we go along, since you've not seen any of the movies.
I haven't seen any of these movies ever.
You know,
Never
there's
even
some hot chicks. I'm telling you, people that have seen these movies, I'm telling you, the witches were hot. I think the Veronica Lake one was an inspiration for Bewitched, because even the hair, when Sam first came out, she kind of had, it wasn't completely over one eye, but it was, you could tell it was blonde and kind of, you know, the same length and everything. I don't know. It's just a theory. Here you go. All right, here we roll. And the ones I know, I'll tell you. One of them is a Disney one. I can't remember the name of it. I think it might have been The Sword and the Stone. Not 100%, but look for that too. Here we go. Now that's just a gift. That's not a movie. Let's see. Now that's, of course, Wizard of Oz. That's an old cartoon, but a famous one. And that's the opening to Bewitched, the TV show. Have you ever heard of it?
Oh yeah, I used to watch it as a kid.
There you go. You remember this?
Yeah, I remember Bewitched.
Yep, there it is. Yep, there she is. I hated all the Darrens. I'm going to be dead honest. Yeah. Oh, it does, Chris Jarvis. It does. Hocus Pocus too. There it is.
I never saw this one.
Oh, you should watch it. It's good. It's good. Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Pretty cool looking.
Yeah. Beautiful. The Garden of the Good Witch. Oh my gosh, I've checked that out. Return to Oz. I haven't seen that one either. That's The Craft. The Craft.
Never saw that one either.
It's a good flick. It's really a good flick. This one. That's Veronica Lake. And I believe that's I Married a Witch. And of course, that's an old Bugs Bunny cartoon.
I think I remember that.
I think that's, yeah. That's not Hazel, though. That's a different one. That's just a different. That one. I can't remember that cartoon. This is Halloween Town. Debbie Reynolds. Fantastic.
I think I know that cartoon. That clip was very familiar.
Does it?
Oh. Yeah.
And the last one? Oh wait, it's not on here. Okay. Yeah, the cartoon I'm gonna take a wild stab at and say Sword in the Stone. I don't know.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking Sword in the Stone.
Correct me on that one with the little witch. That did everybody catch that? I wonder if I could pull up just that part. Let's try. Why not? It's kind of a catch-it-all. Right about here. That's Halloween Town. This is the cartoon.
That one, yeah. The cartoon was
yeah. That was a great flick too. That's a good
Sword
one.
in the Stone was a great movie. That was that was an all-time classic.
And that witch is in the Bugs Bunny flicks, but I can't remember her name. It's not Hazel because I have some gifts of her. This one. I don't know. It's crazy. I can't remember. Bed Knobs and Broomsticks? You think so? Is it? Is it Bed Knobs?
I still think it was Sword in the Stone.
Doctor Who. That wasn't Doctor Who. Bird one is Sword and Tech Stone. Yeah. What?
Bird one is Sword in the Stone. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. See, is it really? Because I mean, that was just off the top of my head. Hocus Pocus is definitely one of them, and Chris Jarvis reminded us.
That was Disney, coming, right? That was like one of their more underrated movies. Was Sword in the Stone. Which one? Yeah,
it was really good.
People always talk about Bambi, but I thought Sword in the Stone was better.
It was a classic as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, it was a good one. But I do think that the Veronica Lake movie was, because it came out about a decade before, maybe a little more, before Bewitched. And he's married a witch.
Vixen Doe saying that it was Cinderella. Was it Cinderella?
Witchy Poo. It could have been. It could have been an old Cinderella. I don't know.
Man, because that was
I can't remember
around that time.
I'll have to look it up and run it through that Google thing where it tells you the times it's on the internet. Maybe I can get a name to pop up or something. But it just hit me. I recognized it, and then I couldn't place where it was. But there's a lot of favorites that I have out there for these types of movies, especially around Halloween. But the number one, do you have a favorite movie that has spells in it, Donny? You hadn't really thought of it?
Spells in it?
Yeah. Since you haven't seen any of these. Well, you did. You saw Sword and Stone. That has it.
I mean, I've seen so many like fantasy, like RPG, like video games. And I mean, I can't even begin to think of like, I don't know, Doctor Strange. That's got spells in it, right?
Sword in the Stone. Spells. Chris Jarvis is saying Sword in the Stone is coming out next year. And Hocus Pocus 2 is the end of the week, I think you said. Didn't you say, Chris? AJK. Oh, did I tell you that Conflict said hello? I talked to him yesterday. All is well. He's a little upset at the inner tubes, because
The
they, he wants to
overlords.
talk about, he wants to talk about things, and they keep taking his stuff down. So I told him, do the, go on YouTube, do an intro to the show with the guests, and say, hey, you want to finish the rest of it? Follow us over to Rumble. Come over here. There's lots of platforms. Rumble's really getting cleaned up and getting their stuff together. Yep. There you go. I told him people were asking for him. I told him he needs to get back into the game. You don't let people take away your, you just find a back door. You find another way. Keep trucking. I'll be danged. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can understand following rules, and you agree to that, Yes, he does. He does have great topics, but he wants to dig deeper. You know what I mean? So that's what he should do. 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes on the tubes. And then here's the link. Follow us over here, and have the chat, I told him, help people, load up, because not everybody's tech savvy and can just download an app and get in there and sign up and log in and all this crap. It's hard for some people, I get jacked up all the time, and then trying to figure out Rumble's chat. The difference is you can't do it on a mobile. So if you're just looking at your phone or your Droid, your iPhone, you don't have a live chat like you do in YouTube. But if you go on a laptop, you do in Rumble. You could send Rumble, Rumbles and stuff like that, Rumble rants and things, just like you can send super stickers. So that's what he should do anyway, because it's too good of a show to just let it shut down, Yep. There you go, Sapphire. Yeah, a lot of people did, and I appreciate everybody that came from there. But again, he needs to be out there doing that, because, he can dig deeper into all the dimensional stuff and space and things like that, than I can. But back to the movies. So if I tell you guys, I've got a lot of favorites. Bell Book and Candle is fantastic. That whole cast is great. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. I haven't found a copy to send you, but I did find something
Cisco, I gotta
else.
run real quick.
Go ahead, sweetie. I'm gonna play this. So can you see it still, Donnie, or no? If not, I'll wait for you. I think we should wait for him. So anyway, I haven't been able to find a Bell Book and Candle where I could just, send a link to you guys. I know you can get it on demand, I'm sure. But yeah, the old movies. Yeah, absolutely. And is. I'm sure I'm forgetting some. I definitely loved Hocus Pocus, no doubt about it. I think my sons were still, young enough to appreciate it when it came out, and it's really good. You're looking forward to see how the second one, but usually sequels, I don't really put too much hope in them, because So I Married an Axe Murderer. Yeah. But as far as which ones, I remember a lot of magical shows like My Mother the Car. There was definitely paranormal stuff going on there. There was probably paranormal overtones to Mr. Ed, the Talking Horse. Come on. There was, what was the other one? Ghost of Mrs. Muir. We've talked about this before, the show and the movie. Yeah. And here recently, The Good Witch. Loved that show. I thought it was pretty good. But I also like the ones that went a little further, like The Craft. I often think of that when I think of kids with abilities, and thinking how easy, what a lure that would be. And when my kids were younger and my son started reading Harry Potter, I was hearing a lot of stuff about, oh, you shouldn't let your kids, read. And more adults were reading Harry Potter, I think, than kids at first. But that whole series, that whole bunch of movies, all of that stuff, it was, it's very well done. The first one was the best, I thought, but that's just me. My kids read it. I think my sons both read that book like twice, If it gets them reading and it gets your imagination going, great. But it's up to the parents to tell them, hey, that's a great lore, but, you go the wrong way and it's very costly. You know what I mean? You can still get magical stuff over here and it's not doing harm. You know what I mean? You got to guide people, just like video games and anything. But out of all the movies, one of my absolute favorite was the one I'm going to play next. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen this, Donnie, but I've got just a snippet of it and featuring another a different song with it, and I hope you like it. But it's just a short snippet. It's only like a minute and a half, but here we go. And then I've got something to tell you afterwards. Here we go. Practical Magic. Have you seen it, Donnie?
Never
You want to
seen
see
it.
it now? Both
I
of
kind of
those
want to
girls
watch
are
it now.
hot.
I think I might.
I'm
check that
telling
out
you
later.
what, that was like out of all the movies they've ever been in, this one right here.
Never even heard of it.
They were both at their peak in that movie.
Man.
And I'll tell you what, so was Stockard Channing, and I forget the other actress that played the other aunt, but she was fabulous too.
I didn't know them two did a movie together. Even.
Yeah,
Like,
really,
what?
really good one.
Sandra
And
Bullock?
it gets it right, does it not? I mean, it's oh gosh, yeah, Aiden Quinn, you know, isn't he though? And so
I think
anyway,
Nicole Kidman's a good actress.
she did great in this.
Yeah.
She really did. There was stuff that, you know, I don't even like to think of her as a person, you know, and all the things that she's done with the movies and everything else. Sometimes I just focus on this one performance, and it's almost like that character is just that. You know, I try to ignore some of the other stuff that might piss me off. You know what I mean? But she did great in this, and so did Sandra Bullock, and so did Stockard Channing. And Anne, do you know the name of the other actress that played the other aunt next to Stockard Channing? But either way, that is a fantastic movie, and I believe it gets it right because it's what you do with it. You know, they focus on crystals and herbs and, you know, nature and cats, and it's a very quiet existence that kind of has a murmurings of, you know, the town kind of stays away from, a little apprehensive, but it flips around and it's terrific. Yeah, I think she was in Lost Boys, you know, against that. It was really weird, but she played opposite that one guy that was trying to go out with her in Lost Boys. What a mismatch that was. He was just a creep. But Diane Weiss. Is that it? Diane Weiss? So anyway, fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, Donnie, watch it. You know, it's only scary to the point of realizing that this stuff really does go on. and in the wrong hands could be extremely dangerous. Do you see what I'm saying? But it also has a mystical, wonderful, miraculous kind of part to it too, and I love the movies that bring that out. Bewitched was one of those where she had it, but she really didn't want to do bad with it until she was up against the wall and she got
See,
cornered.
Bewitched was I don't know, it was a little bit different because I feel like she had like her powers were like too unlimited.
Cigarettes
Like
keep
she
going
would
out.
be like be able to like freeze time and stuff, right? Am I right? Wouldn't she do that
I
though?
forget what the
Am I,
thing was with Bewitched. I know she had certain powers, but in some cases weren't as strong as, say, her mother's. And Dora, right? Was her mom
oh,
Dora?
I think I'm getting her confused with I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah, that's it. She was a genie.
Yeah,
She's totally different,
yeah,
although there's magic involved.
yeah.
Yeah. And comeuppance, because if you notice with Genie, nothing would actually completely go the way you wanted it to turn out. You know what I mean? Which is kind
Yeah.
of the way the whole thing with genies and jinn is. Because usually, if you've ever heard a story about, three wishes or um, what was the name of that one? I think it was called Make a Wish. Had a great guy playing the genie. He was just creepy as all get out. But it was back in the 90s, late 90s, I think, came out. But if somebody makes a wish, the wish usually backfires some way.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
That's always the kind of thing. And that's kind of
Like
in
the
a
monkey's
more,
paw.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, my uncle told me that story the first time I heard it. I was probably like 11 or 12. But we were staying in a hotel on the battleground in Gettysburg, believe it or not. And he told me that, and I swear there was a thump on the door, scared the crap out of me. So I don't know if it was the wind or what, but there was nobody there. Or somehow he set it up and just like by this time and kicked the door or something. Who knows? But yeah, on that battlefield in Gettysburg in a hotel, that was crazy. The monkey's paw. Yeah, it didn't turn
Whoops.
out the way people wanted, which is kind of like Pet Cemetery. If you've ever seen that, where you want the your pet or your human, whoever, to come back, and they bury them there so they'll come back, and but they're not the same. There's always that tag. But anyway, before I forget, Practical Magic, somebody said it here in the chat. It is available on YouTube if you haven't seen it or would like to see it again in the Halloween boo season. I highly recommend it. Light a couple candles, turn down the lights, maybe burn some sage and some lavender or something, and really get into it and watch that flick because it's so good. And for the guys, you don't only get magic, but you get them too. And they were absolutely something in this movie. They really were. I think it was great from beginning to the end. So I will put the link for the free YouTube movie in the description. And it is with ads, but if you know the little trick, you kind of play it to the end and then you can go back and restart it and then all the ads. So do that. Or just play the ads. It's not excessive. And you get to see Practical Magic. So that will be in the description for you guys. Just another little Halloween treat. But if anybody knows any links to Bell Book and Candle, I would love to see that. And I don't have like Amazon Prime, and I've got some on-demand craziness going on in the living room somehow. There's lots of buttons and remote controls and things like that. Sometimes you can find stuff, but not always. So if you've got a link to that, or you guys find it on YouTube or something, or Rumble, let me know. Okay, appreciate it. But definitely, if you haven't seen that movie, watch it. So, Donnie, is it ready for Toby to go have a cigarette? Because I've got a little video. I think it's about 9 minutes. It's about a spell, but I thought it very interesting because it's not this type. It's not, something you'd see in Hocus Pocus or Bell Witch and Book and Candle or something like that. This is, let me stop that banner. It's like distracting the shit out of me. There we go. So this is out of Australia. It's a little snippet from that great show, The Extraordinary. And but this has to do with the tribal indigenous people there, the Aborigines. And if you look at what they're talking about and what's going down, it's the same thing. And I thought it was so interesting because we're always saying that, Donnie, globally, no matter whether you go indigenous people, tribal, whatever, and they might be using a group of herbs to cure something, you know, and then you go across to another continent and those indigenous people are using the same herbs, but maybe two more or another, a different one for similar things. Hey, cool, Sasha Bell, look what she found. Bell Book and Candle. Hey, honey, thank you so much. Look. Oh, that's a treat. Okay. Look at there. Right there on the tubes, right? Fantastic, honey. Thank you. I'm going to watch that after the show. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
and
Sasha great with those links.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Now, what is her name? Oh gosh, oh shoot. Is it Kim Novak? Hang on. Chat, tell me who this is. Isn't she gorgeous? Look at the kitty. Look at the paws. Look at those beans. Look at those beans on that kitty. How precious. And here's another one. These are like little gifts, scenes out of that one is Bell Book and Candle. Yes. So tell me, Kim Novak, thank you. Thank you so much. And Sasha Bell says we're welcome. I love this chat so much. So anyway, I'm going to watch that afterwards. Now, this one again, we're going to Australia, and it's another spell, another curse, so to speak. And I believe in some ways they can both be the same. They're not interchangeable, but they can be combined. Do you know what I mean? To afflict someone. And another, like last night, we were talking about oppression. This is another way. It doesn't have to be a spirit. It can be this. It can be a curse, which is usually has a lot of spells attached to it. You know, they're just called different names. Yep.
Every culture's got them.
So true. So here we go. It's like like 9 minutes or so, but you're going to love it. Okay, here we go.
I'll be watching on my phone.
Aboriginals
cool beans
have a long and powerful link to the psychic. Take the case of Alan, a young Aboriginal boy who lapsed into a coma. Modern medicine could do nothing. Alan had been sung. For centuries, Aboriginal tribal elders have passed down their legends, their knowledge, from generation to generation. Outsiders have always been mystified by their powers, many of which seem to transcend scientific explanation. Those elders are said to have the power of life and the power of death.
There's certainly a firmly held belief that that many deaths were the result of Aboriginal influences.
Randy Spargo has spent 20 years in the far northwest of Western Australia. He's now the resident doctor in Derby. Dr. Spargo has seen a number of cases up here which have defied modern medicine. Cases where he believes Aborigines have been sung, punished according to tribal laws.
There's a very rapid deterioration in their physical and mental condition. They go into decline very, very quickly. And when that happens, it's probably too late.
Back in 1989, Alan Bangmora, who was then 17 years old, suffered all those symptoms. He's convinced he wasn't physically ill, but something was eating away at his soul, his spirit, and he was dying. A tribal group somewhere was singing him, using immense mental powers to send a message of death across vast expanses of the Australian outback.
how they sing songs, you know. They sing you to death, like they sing you to die.
Alan Bangmora's crime was love. It seems his punishment was death. You see, the girl he chose came from another tribe, and she'd been promised to another man. Not just any man, but a tribal elder. That, according to community leader Ken Colbung, is a breach of ancient law, an unpardonable crime.
Well, in breaking the law, he has in some way dirtied the bloodlines of the tribal group.
The romance was short-lived. In a matter of weeks, Alan was left alone. His girlfriend had fled back to her own people. That's when Alan went off the rails, stole a car and ended up in Perth's Longmoor Remand Centre. When he was committed to Longmoor, Alan was a fit young man. Average weight, average height, and no known medical problems. That was until one night in May 1989.
So the next morning I couldn't get up. I was just all started getting weak, all burned up. And my head was hot. And the eye was blurry, couldn't see. I was just laying there and just couldn't do nothing.
The Remand Centre's nurse, Judy Long, began to suspect that this was not a straightforward illness. It was not one that pills could cure.
And then he was holding his, the left side of his chest, and he was pulling, he was really pulling at his chest and complaining about a red stone that was stuck in his chest. And then after that he was talking about a feather that was behind his left ear, which sort of led me to believe what I'd been thinking all along, that this young man had been sung. He suddenly sat straight up in bed. He just sat bolt upright and he screamed. And all he said was, "I've got 1 minute to live." And then he went back into the bed. He just laid straight back down again. And he went a grey colour. It was just something I'd never seen an Aboriginal do before. I'd never seen someone that dark go that pale before, and it was quite a shock.
Judy Long knew Alan needed help, and needed it quickly. An ambulance rushed the boy across Perth to Sir Charles Gardner Hospital, where he was admitted to intensive care. 48 hours later, young Alan was still in a coma. The doctors had tried everything, but modern medicine had failed them. All their tests, all their technology couldn't tell them what was wrong. So in desperation, they turned away from the present and sought wisdom from the past.
There is a tribal law in every tribe that if you break the law, you get punished for it. Well, the most severe one is to be sung and sung to death.
This is the man the hospital called in. A man some might call a witch doctor. He is in fact an Aboriginal elder who says he has the power to unsing, to cast off evil spells. Never before has he spoken about these ancient skills, and by doing so now, he believes his life could be in danger.
Well, it's all in my hands. See, when I put my hand on anybody, I can fix them up. And as I run my hand through anybody, I could take the power out, break the spell.
The elder was flown from his tribal area up north to Sir Charles Gardner Hospital, where he was taken to see the boy, still in intensive care, still in a coma.
The doctors knew that I was coming, and they just told me that they'll leave us for 20 or 30 minutes. And I just talked to him myself and rubbed him over, and he was good as gold.
Only 2 people know exactly what happened in that hospital room. The elder says the treatment is a secret that belongs to his people and his people alone. Alan Bangmora is still bewildered, and his memory of those few minutes is hazy.
this man just told me, oh, just lay in the bed. I'll fix you up. So he just took off my shirt, told me to close my eyes. Then I was opening up my eye, and he was there just rubbing my guts, my feet, my head. Just like he was just pulling out all these things, you know, like I could feel it coming out. He said, oh, you're right now, I fixed you up.
The spell was broken. Alan's life was spared.
He knew he had escaped death, yes.
Alan's 21 now and lives in Derby. He knows he made a mistake and went close to paying the ultimate price. Alan truly believes that he broke an ancient law, and it was only an ancient power that saved him.
The white doctors, they don't know what's going on. They can't fix anybody up. That's because it's all sort of invisible. It's a spiritual thing. The mind is being taken over by the spiritual singing.
I think it's a powerful force in any group where superstition plays an important role in their everyday lives, and it's not to be denied and shouldn't be underestimated as to it, the powerfulness of that.
Well, there you go.
Man,
And to answer you, yes, Trip, right?
God
Yes,
damn,
and
they really cursed his ass, didn't they?
yeah, to
Damn,
death.
they're
He
like-
was sung.
they're like, they just sang him to death.
That's what they
that's crazy.
call it, you know. Now, in my tradition, we can sing people over. It's like a vibrational song, like to help the spirit cross, you know. But in this case, a whole tribe was singing to go against him and take him out because he fell in love with or was going after some girl that was promised to somebody
trying
else.
to hook up with the chief's woman, you know.
She was promised to somebody else.
The rules.
Yeah, he knew the rules. Apparently, he knew.
He
Yeah,
knew the rules. Rules are rules.
You know, I believe there's still stuff that goes on to this day, whether it's Santeria or hoodoo or voodoo or witchcraft or Wiccan or herbal or, you know, whatever anybody's, you know, it's all around, you know. This is the height of the season too. This is when everything, you know, different dates and different things and different.
I think all of it works.
Mm-hmm.
And all of it's not to be messed with.
That's I agree 100%.
You don't want someone cursing you from whatever tradition, whether it be voodoo or Santeria or
yeah, that's
I just recently learned of like Amish curses. I didn't even know those were a thing.
Yes. Oh, yeah, Uncommon Belief is saying, I just caught this. Stephen King's Thinner. It's a gypsy curse. Yes, it's spot on. Anybody else has them, throw them out there because man, that's a good one. Yep. I pulled up my phone for a second because I put something in my on my homepage to read to you guys.
Lately, I've been looking a lot into like Korean shamanism.
Oh,
One of the things I've been finding is that they got some pretty gnarly curses too.
Yeah,
where they
it's
just
global.
basically say, you know what, your house is getting demonically possessed.
Scottish clan, Italian kitchen. You know, it doesn't matter. Front porch in the Appalachian Mountains to across the board.
Yeah.
It's just doing the same things, have different ways of getting there, different things, but it's all elements and shifting of energy and manipulating energy and, you know, the magic of it. It's amazing. And we see it every day in some ways, I believe, you know, if you look for it, the stuff, it's out there, you know, the butterfly that shows up at the right time, you know, or in my case, I remember I said, I was going through something and I said, give me a sign and let me know I'm doing the right thing. That and I'm able to do what I'm setting myself out to do. It was a huge challenge, you know. And it was just, I mean, it was like a, you know, gauntlet. Let's just put it that way. And all of a sudden, I mean, without missing a beat, here comes a big old truck filled with restaurant supplies, and it says Cisco. Good things come from Cisco across the thing, and it went right in front of me. And I went, I'll take it. You know, I mean, it's little stuff like that. That's magical, you know. Or the time I was talking about to somebody about Archangel Michael, and they said, you know, do you think, you know, is it was real and a legend, or do you think it's somebody that, you know, an active entity now as much as then, and this kind of conversation? And I said, absolutely. You know, I mean, omnipresent. Ask Lynn. And she's in the chat, by the way. Hey, Lynn, I love you, girl. She had a great show last night. And I'm so glad we have her once a month. We're so blessed to have such great people. But, you know, it's all over. And it's just, it baffles your mind. So anyway, we're in the car. And I said, of course, you know, I said, I'm always talking to Angel Mike, you know. And right then, we pull up behind a car, the only other car behind a red light we have to stop at. We're right behind it. And the license plate says Michael. I shit you not. You know? So do you say, coincidence? Are you a believer in coincidences? Or do you believe in synchronicities and magic and being able to manipulate? Like in practical magic, when they were kids, she did a love spell and described her true love and did all these impossible things to be able to flip pancakes in the air and have one blue eye and one blue eye and one green, and all these different things. It could ride a horse backwards or something. And she put all these things into this spell, into this big bowl, and put the spell into it, and all the petals went up into the air and just, you know. And the whole thing is, she didn't want to fall in love because they were cursed. It was curse again from the bloodlines, and all love was going to fail for the females in that bloodline. That's practical magic. So the little girl conjured up a man that was impossible to exist. Yet, it's possible he does. I won't give it away. So it's kind of cool. But that's just another way of looking at a spell. It depends on how it's done. It could be doing tell me if this isn't it sound Wiccan to you guys. In voodoo, if you want to put a love spell, you write your love's name on a white piece of paper or whatever. And hey, Lynn, and in your handwriting, and then you put it in the bottom of a mason jar and cover it with honey, and you cover it up tight, and you put it under your bed and you sleep over it for like a week. And then there's a couple of other things you should do. But does it, you know what I mean? It's just, it seems so simple, you know. Yet if you do it in something like practical magic with music and the right lighting and the right atmosphere, it can seem extremely magical. You know what I mean? It's different. And hocus pocus, it can be done. It's still intriguing, and you can't. It's hard to hate these witches, even though they're supposed to be evil, because they're funny and they're quirky, you know. And there's some kind of magical lore to it, you know. And you go to the other side and you start getting into like Salem, the miniseries, and like we were talking, I think last night, American Horror Story and things like that. And it gets like really gets on the darker side of things, if you've ever seen that.
You mean,
you know?
With all the persecution and stuff and all those stories?
Well, no, this is, they get down and dirty with it in Salem.
Okay.
And, you know, like really Satanist Salem, dark and dirty. It gets deep. I mean, it's nothing to play with, man. It's, and it fits right into this whole wave of, where people have gotten really desensitized to things and can, sit through something like Saw, Purge, or some of these deeper, darker Pinhead. I'm not putting that stuff down. I'm just saying I have a problem sitting in a theater full of people taking in that kind of energy. And if you're watching that, how you doing, Unseen? I love you. Thanks for stopping in. Sleep well, love. And if you think about it like I think about it, and you can't unthink about it once you've thought about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
If you're sitting in a theater full of people watching a movie like Hellraiser, Saw, Purge, some of these where it just, and 1,000 other ones off the top of my head, that have that kind of level of low, dark, vibrational energy that it's putting out. Now you've got a whole theater full of people that are either sitting in fear and afraid to get up and pushing themselves to watch it because of, for whatever reason. And then there's people that are watching it actually getting some kind of an excitement. That's a different level, and it's you know what I mean. It's either the scare or for whatever reason, good and bad, I'm sure. But you're watching this now. Everybody in that theater is in the same space and the same thought form and that energy. You can't tell me that bad energy doesn't come off of a grouping like that. If you can tell me that in a church where everybody is singing, and do you see what I mean? Or at a drum circle where everybody is singing, forget religion and just a collective of that frequency.
You know where else I noticed it, Cisco, actually? A couple times I actually attended like stand-up comedy shows live.
Oh, yeah.
And you feel it in that room where it's just like everything's extra funny. Even like jokes you normally wouldn't laugh at, you just
That's a good point, Donnie.
Because there's like this frequency that everyone's just tuned into, because everyone's laughter is like so infectious, right?
Absolutely great point, man.
If you've never gone to a live like stand-up show, I mean, I recommend.
Yeah, I have, and I've also been in them where they're very awkward. Like, I'm not one of those people that kind of dig the old, like for us old folks, Don Rickles humor, where he would just put everybody down, and that was what was funny, making fun of someone else. I never dug that kind of humor, even though I hear he was a fantastic guy in real life. I mean, that was just his shtick, you know what I mean? And there's people like that now, and there's people that I think are absolutely hysterical, and then they'll take a hard left and just start adding all this like shock humor to think. I'm not into that either. I try to stay. Look, I idle at a 95. It's constant. It's like trying to keep the lid on a pressure cooker, So, I mean, that's just God's honest truth. And I think a lot of people feel that way, and you constantly have to just, try to keep it down. This is hard. I tell my family all the time. It's like, I didn't, when I just, go, it's like, it's not, I went from 0 to, it's like I idle here. Isn't a far jump for me. You know what I mean? So going out in public and driving in New Jersey, dealing with public, dealing with, when I was doing customer service and shit like that. Oh my God. It's like, you constantly have to, because the frequencies have gotten off the charts. Does everybody else feel it? I feel it. It's just constant. It's like the humming is getting louder, and it's like I said, it's like being in one of those theaters, and you're, watching some of the stuff that is in these movies, whether it's a quick jump scare or not. And that's really not quite the same thing, but it's the ones that build up and they're intense and they deal with human demoralization and torture, especially torture for no reason and psychopathic. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a cacophony of, chaos and morbidity. It's just insane, off the charts. And you have a whole theater full of people, and some of them are enjoying that, not just desensitized and jaded. That's a whole different deal. Like I said, there's multiple reasons somebody would sit through something like that and not even like water off a duck's back. You know what I mean? But there's other people that are very sensitive to this. And you got to think about kids, it's true. Again, I thought people were crazy when they were talking about censoring out, albums and things like that, playing them backwards and stuff in the 70s. I'm not into censorship. What I'm saying is maybe it's the pendulum has gone like so far, So, like I said, this can go extremely dark, but the ones that I showed tonight, I got scared to death. I think I had a gift somewhere in there of Sleeping Beauty. Was it Sleeping Beauty? No, I take that back. It was Snow White. I was 6 years old, Donnie. We had a babysitter, and she had a couple of kids that she watched, and an older son that kind of helped out. So he was also very into the old Universal Super 8 films of all the monsters. So you guys know what I mean when I say Universal monsters. Frankenstein, Dracula, the Wolfman, the Invisible Man, Jekyll and Hyde, I think. Name them off. The swamp, the Creature from the Black Lagoon. I think I got them all, but I probably missed one or two. But anyway, he would show these things on the wall and scare the living shit out of us. I was probably 7 when Snow White came out. What year do you know what year Snow White came out? Disney, the original. So anyway, we walked. I remember getting money to go. It was a big deal. We were going to see the movie, and it was great, right? So on a Saturday, he walked all of us kids to the theater, and we watched Snow White. And when that witch came out with that apple, man, that was one evil. They poured it on. I don't know. That scared the hell out of me.
I remember watching that movie. I just don't remember the witch being that scary, though.
Well, you're not a 7-year-old little girl either.
I mean, I can tell you what scared the crap out of me when I was a little kid. Freddy Krueger scared the crap out of me when I was like 7, 8 years old. Oh,
really?
Boy. Oh, boy, he scared the crap out of me.
I got to tell you, my oldest son, it was his favorite, and he was like 7. And I know I'm terrible at my kids watch stuff like that, but I watched it with them. I know. I got in trouble for letting my kids watch The Simpsons. So
did you like them?
I get it. Freddie, I didn't, really like the movie that much. I mean, it was like one time and, done.
Did you prefer like Freddie over Jason?
If you're just looking at like storylines, I would say the storyline for Freddie had a little more to it because the guy that got burned and it was something in a school. Wasn't he like trying to diddle kids and stuff like that or some kind of shit in the school and he got burnt down? And that's why he was like that, came back for revenge or some mess. But he came through your dreams, which was an interesting take, I thought. You know what I mean? Whereas, did you say Jason? Like,
Jason was the other, because that was the other.
That was a sadder backline story to me because it was another kid getting picked on, and going bad and drowned in and coming back, and the mom that covered for him and, killing kids that were, getting it on because that's what happened while he would drown to death or something, right? That's pretty much the back line of that, right? It's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
It came out when I was in high school, I think, or just out of high school. And it
And
was
his mom
shot
was all
right here.
messed up.
Yeah, she was some kind of. Well, first of all, she wore a really heavy sweater turtleneck. You knew she was trouble right out the get, because
Yeah.
she just is so much, But that was shot right here in Pine Barrens in New Jersey.
Hmm.
The first one. I don't know about the next 15. Hang on. Anne's answering something about Snow White. Let's see if we get our answers. When we saw Snow White at the theater, it was an anniversary of the original. Okay. Is there more to that, Anne? Did I miss something, honey? I probably did run in my mouth. I'm sorry. So, Donnie, I got something. Let's see. Suzanne Woodcarver could use good thoughts. Oh, God bless you. Show helps immensely. Thank you, Cisco and Donnie in chat. Oh, let's see. Wind from north. It changed. Spray hits right side of my face. Eye, cheek, nose, lips. I am better. What? What's going on, Donnie? What am I missing? There's multiple things going on in this chat, and I have no clue.
Yeah, I didn't know what that meant exactly.
Okay. Can somebody fill me in? Susan, are you okay, Susan? I thought for a second she was telling me because of the wind that she was being affected by that hurricane. If you are in the, please, prayers to everybody in the path of this mess and send it back out to the ocean. Collective thought, just push it back and away. Just go back out to sea and just melt into nothing.
Can I ask what state Susan Woodcarver is in? Well, like, I don't know. Like,
she might not want to be doxxed, Donnie.
Yeah, I was just wondering.
If she
I
wants to.
always thought she was like in like Montana or something.
Montana?
I was like, is there anything going on in Montana?
She might be talking about maybe something about wind. So she was getting hit in the face with wind and rain or something.
They have that hurricane going on like in Florida right now.
Oh, she accidentally sprayed herself with bear spray. I thought you had a hurricane. It's bear spray. Oh my God. Would the hurricane have been better?
She sprayed herself with bear spray
in the face.
That's probably worse.
Oh my God.
That's worse.
Are you okay? What do you do to neutralize that? Not milk.
No.
Is it milk?
Baking
Susan,
soda.
are you okay?
Baking soda.
Is it baking soda?
This
We had a guy
the
in the motor pool, car battery, went in his eyes, and he got acid in his eyes, man. We grabbed him by the BDUs and drug him to the vending machine and started jamming quarters in that vending machine and pouring Coke in his eyes to neutralize it. We saved his ass, man. I couldn't believe that. That was crazy. You had 5 people digging in their BDUs trying to get that money and opening the Coke, just dumping it in his face. And man, the Army days. Those were the days, my friend. Yeah. I hope she's okay. Hurricane effects aren't to the weekend. Aunt Edna says where she is. High wind, heavy rain tonight. Milk. There's not a lot you can do. Did you try milk, Susan? Are we past it? Has it subsided? Did you get medical assistance? Oh my God.
Wait,
that's awful.
Did she shoot
no, I'm just flashing back to
hurricane, and then the spray came back around and hit her?
I don't know, but it's just I just want to sit here and just like not say anything and read the chat because I feel like I'm missing so much.
Yeah.
Rubber skin with butter helps. You don't put butter on a burned sapphire. You know that, right? That's an old. I think it's milk. Maybe we can Google it. Get her some help. It's probably something simple. It always it's the craziest stuff works. I'm telling you, man. So anyway, I've got another vid, but I had a little something I wanted to read to you guys. I found it very interesting. I was looking forward to telling. Working. I'm sorry, what?
I was like, I could see vegetable oil working because Corey Cole said vegetable oil.
Well, the thing is I don't know the chemicals in the mace. There's certain mace that has, certain things that create the burn and the sting. Some of them are multiple things. Oh. So to counteract that, you have to know what is in that specific, what's the baseline for bear mace, and then counteract that. You see what I mean?
Oh.
So I don't even know if regular, because I've been hit with mace several times, and it had to go through the gas, thing they run you through in the Army several times. I mean, it's hell. It's hell. You've got a tiny little leak, and the mace is the worst. It burns your skin and it keeps going, and diluted, stops burning on cheek, lips, and nose. Dawn, amazing. Dawn diluted stuff. Well, that's because it cuts the oil. It must be oil based. It must have some kind of oiliness to, to stick to you. So Dawn, that's why Dawn dishwashing liquid works. Like if you rub into poison ivy and clothes and stuff like that, rub Dawn dishwashing liquid in the clothes, because poison ivy can last like up to 2 years after it's made contact, on a shovel or rake or your garden boots or your gloves. It is. Don't I wish I feel as if in my 40s. Oh, that's a chemical burn. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If it's a chemical burn, you got to watch what you put on that, And the reason the Dawn probably, now just guessing, is because it cuts the oil. So it's got to be oil based. Because like I said, it works on poison ivy. Like if you scrub your arms and stuff like that, you have to break the oil of the poison ivy. And you can wash it the same with another soap. You're not going to get the same result. So, wow. All right. So I wanted to read you this. This I thought was very interesting. Looking through spells.
Oh, Cisco. Susan Woodcarver just explained how it happened.
Oh, you have coyotes. Oh, wait. Let's get this up here. Let's handle this. All right. Help me out here, Donnie.
2 hours ago, sprayed half my face with bear spray. We have coyotes. Wanted to take dog for a walk. Wondered if nozzle was clear. It's old. Should have checked. Be prepared. Luckily, I put dog in garage. Damn.
Wow.
Damn.
So basically, she's saying, did you look down the nozzle to see if it was loaded?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
And it was like an old one, I guess. Damn.
Oh, gee. Okay, here's Glenn. Hold on. It is oil-based. I Googled it. Said the dish soap or best no tears baby shampoo. There you go. There you go. See?
There you go.
I'm telling you. I might not be able to figure this music thing out, and I might not be able to get a smooth intro, but by golly, there's some things. That's just like the herbalist. You take it, you break it down. Why is it work? What's affected? What do we have for that? Whereas sometimes Western medicine will go in, well, let's shut this down. Let's cause this to happen over here and bring this over here. And that way it'll affect this eventually, but it sets off 10 other things and, 5 other symptoms. It's crazy. Whereas like an herb will go in and go, okay, well, you've got a kidney infection. Well, here, take this. What's the first thing for kidney infection that anybody goes for? I don't care how old you are. What is it? Cranberry juice, right? So, or urinary tract infection. That's what cranberry juice, flush everything out, right?
I've heard that recommended, yeah.
Right? And then they come out with a pill that has there it is, Aunt Edna. So, and then they come out with a pill that's got some dried, processed, nobody knows how old it is, how long it's been sitting on the dock, where it came from, right? Dried up old cranberry. Thought it used to be a cranberry, right? And then they mix it with 20 other things, patent it, put it in a pill, and
it's
say,
like
here,
cranberry
take this.
Flavored powder.
Yeah, and then you look at it, active ingredient will be some Latin word for fucking cranberry. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. So why aren't you just going for the cranberry? See what I mean? Oh, and the wind change. Oh, the wind changed. Now we've got it. We have the full story here. So she sprays it to see if it works because she was testing it. She had put the dog in the garage. Thank goodness. That's that part. and she sprays it. And as she sprays it, the wind turned against her like a curse, or somebody put a spell on it, and the wind blew it into her face. And now she's got bear mace on her face, which is not a laughing matter at all. That's incredible. Incredible. I'm glad you're better. Don't scrub it too much with the Dawn. Gentle stuff, but I don't even want to recommend, that's a burn. That's a chemical burn. Even if it's ghost pepper, it's still a chemical. You know what I mean? It's a burn. Jeez. I feel so bad. Oh my gosh. I hope you're better, honey. Yeah, but that's why I think it cuts the oil, the Dawn. It's great for stuff too. Like that's why they'll use it on the baby ducks and different other waterfowl that get in the oil spills and stuff, because it cuts the oil that good. It's a trip. So I'm trying to find this thing. Here's this. So looking for spells and something a little different that wasn't like an old Disney movie, or like, some of these pictures that we showed. It was a little different. It comes out in 1973, and it's called Encounter with the Unknown. I don't know if anybody's ever seen this, but one of the stories absolutely has something to do with tonight's subject. So during the years 1949 through 1970, Dr. Jonathan Rankin conducted extensive research in the field of psychic phenomena and cataloged hundreds of events that defy rational explanation. The most intriguing aspect of the research was the discovery of an apparent relationship between many of these events and certain cemeteries located throughout the United States. I shit you not. Now, this is the thing.
Damn.
We had Tom and Tim on Comwell, and they were talking about relationships between certain UFO sightings and Bigfoot sightings, and how many sightings in one spot, and all that kind of thing, the relationship, correlation between them. How does he correlate anything about 23 cemeteries out of the whole United States? And these cemeteries all have something paranormal involved, or involved with other paranormal events, that either the person winds up in one of these cemeteries after the death, it's so weird.
Oh,
So anyway, go ahead. What's up?
Susan Woodcarver says, "You guys are helping me. The Dawn has made my face raw, but I'm much better." Hugs.
Oh my gosh, good. And you didn't get in your eyes, did you, Susan? I hope not. I mean, because my first go-to colloidal silver, sovereign silver. If it was me, that's what I'd be trying. I can't tell you what to do. I'm not a doctor. I don't even play one on TV. But if you're Googling, WebMD and natural, I would do natural cures for. That's where I start. And notice I use the word cures, because a lot of the herbal stuff cures whatever the ailment. It doesn't just cover it up. You don't want to hush your body if it's telling you something. If it hurts, it's trying to tell you there's something wrong. So fix it. That's what herbs, and that's why they burned so many people at the stake, because they knew these things.
Yeah.
And people go crazy when they don't understand, right? Aloe vera, I was thinking that, Anne, but again, I don't know what the chemical is. So that's why I'm so hesitant to say, you don't want to start just throwing stuff at something. I can't see how aloe vera gel would hurt it. I mean, that's even, maybe try a little spot of it if you have some, just like that way, if it helps there, instead of just like smearing it all over all at one time. To try a little spot, try a couple things and see, but aloe is great for burns, and it's nice and cool. So I don't know, but good luck with that, sweetie. Golly, it's awful. So anyway, getting back to Dr. Rankin. So basically he has found this in his research. So according to Dr. Rankin, 453 people directly involved in these strange events were buried in only 23 separate cemeteries throughout the nation. Some of the persons died as a result of the recorded event, but many lived normal lifetimes before being interred in one of the 23 cemeteries. Now, this is crazy. The apparent final grouping of people who were touched by the unknown is referred to in parapsychology as the Rankin cluster phenomenon. Now, had anybody ever heard of this?
I never heard of this.
I remember it being mentioned a couple times, but I never understood really what it was because, like listening to interviews or whatever, and say, well, like the Rankin cluster, when some would say the Rankin, it's like people today, refer to Roswell. Well, like Roswell, and people just know that's how they're kind of saying it. But I never really understood what it was until I pulled this up. So it's crazy. The Rankin cluster phenomena. Dr. Rankin's research was never completed due to his untimely death in August 20th, 1970. He was buried 16 blocks from his home in one of the 23 cemeteries he spent his lifetime studying. The following episodes are based on supposedly true events described in Dr. Rankin's writing and involving one of the mysterious cemeteries. And he wound up being buried in one. So if you want to read more, it is called, again, the Rankin cluster phenomena. And to me, it's interesting, not only for the fact that how do you stumble on something like this, but also that all of the cases that he studied all had connections to these 23 cemeteries out of the United States. That's incredible. That's incredible. So I got one of those stories, and it absolutely has to do with curses and spells. Ready, Donnie? Ready for another?
Yep.
Is Toby ready for another walk?
Yeah, I could go for another smoke.
All right. I think this is the right one. Here we go. Yep. That's it. I don't know, Glenn. I don't know.
During the years 1949 through 1970, Dr. Jonathan Rankin conducted extensive research in the field of psychic phenomena and cataloged hundreds of events that defy rational explanation. The most intriguing aspect of the research was the discovery of an apparent relationship between many of these events and certain cemeteries located throughout the United States. According to Dr. Rankin, 453 people directly involved in these strange events were buried in only 23 separate cemeteries throughout the nation. This apparent final grouping of people who were touched by the unknown is referred to in parapsychology as the Rankin cluster phenomena. The following episodes are based on supposedly true events described in Dr. Rankin's writing and involving one of the mystery cemeteries.
There are few things as strange as reality. For reality comes to us wearing many faces, disguised as all manner of things. What is reality and what is illusion? Some things we think are real may be merely wisps of smoke from our minds. And some things we think illusion are merely cloaked in that guise. so they may play their parts without knowing what they really are. This is one reality. At least we can think it is. And this perhaps reality starts off a chain of events so strange, we can only guess whether it was real or whether, after all, it was only an illusion. Did these events happen by coincidence or by an unknown and unknowable calculation? Let's start by populating this day's stage with some of the characters.
I know that my Redeemer liveth, and that he shall stand at the latter day upon the earth.
Dave Terrell,
Body be destroyed, yet shall
Frank
I
Cameron,
see God, whom I shall see for myself.
Andy
and I
Powell.
shall behold.
Three young men, college students, all the boy next door, all people we've known before. Brother Taylor, a well-meaning and God-fearing man.
Blessed be the name of the Lord. And so, Lord, we commend to thee the earthly remains of John Davis.
Johnny Davis, the one who holds the rather dubious place of honor at this gathering. And this is Camille Davis, Johnny's mother, the seventh daughter of a seventh son. Does she have anything to do with our story? Perhaps. Let's unfold it.
He was cut down untimely, but you in your infinite wisdom know best. Take the soul of this young man, Lord, and may he dwell in your hallways forever. The Lord giveth, and the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Amen.
Listen you well to my word. One by land, two by sky. Look to the heptagon, for it is there. 7 times around go the three of you. And may your reward be just and true. Look to the heptagon, for it is there. 7 times around go the three of you, and may your reward be just.
Excuse me, sir, would you like a refill on your drink? Sir, would you like another drink?
Excuse me. I think she's talking to you.
Would you care for something?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I would.
Okay, here. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. Would you care for anything?
Sorry, Father. Guess I was pretty deep in thought. I didn't even hear her.
We all get that way sometimes. Deep thought is sometimes a bridgeway across our problems.
Father, do you believe in the supernatural?
I'm sorry.
Well, I guess it sounds pretty silly, but I was wondering if you believed in the supernatural.
Don't you realize the supernatural is my business? You might say I'm a pro at it.
I hadn't thought of it that way. I guess you're right.
You'll see, AJ.
One of those
Hang on.
many people who have a supernatural boss.
Hold on, bro.
He's a good boss. Gentle boss. One who knows all the answers. Sometimes doesn't tell you what they are. What made you think of the supernatural anyway?
Oh, nothing.
Listen you well to my word. One by land, two by sky.
Well, yes, something. Now look, Father, I'm not a Catholic.
It doesn't make any difference.
No, I guess it doesn't. Something has been bugging me for the last couple of days, and I really need somebody to talk to about it.
So, I've got 2 ears. Talk.
Well, I guess I should begin at the beginning. It all started in this pool hall. Randy Powell, this friend of mine, and I, and Dave Terrell. We're all roommates at state. I'm sorry, Father. I'm Frank Cameron.
Good to know you, Frank. I'm Father Dwayne.
It's good to know you too, Father. Well, anyway, we were at this pool hall, just having fun, and there was this guy there, Johnny Davis. We were just sort of kidding him around, you know. We didn't mean any harm.
Sure, she's ready. Don't you think so, Dave?
Sure she is, man. She was ready last night.
You know what?
What?
I'll bet we could fix old Johnny up with her.
Oh, I don't know, man. She might be a little tough for him. What do you think, Johnny?
Who is she? I don't know many girls. She's a new kid that just moved in down the block. She's about 17 and, well, you know. Hey, Randy, why don't you give her a call? We can send old Johnny over from right here.
All right. I'll just do that. Hello? Darlene? No. This is Randy. Yeah. Oh, I'm just down the street. Uh-huh. You are? Well, look, what are you doing tonight? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I just bet you are. Hey, look, Darlene. Dave and Frank are over here. And we have a good friend named Johnny. If they could have a day with you. You can? That's terrific. Well, you know what I mean, don't you, Darlene? Yeah. Well, as long as we understand each other. Well, look, this guy that's coming over tonight is a personal friend of mine. Dig? Yeah. So I want you to take real good care of him. Okay? All right? Yeah, he'll be over in about 10 minutes. Okay. Yeah. Hey, darling. Have fun. Well, she wants to see him.
What's the address? Hey, I forgot her name.
Her name is Darlene, and she lives at 35, 36. Yeah, that's it. 35, 36. Now, we got that? Yeah. You fellas gonna be here?
Yeah, we'll be right here when you get through.
Okay, Johnny, get off.
Hey, man, where was that address you sent him to?
I don't know. What difference does it make?
You can kind of see what's coming, can't you, Donnie? Can you hear me? Your mic's up.
Who's there?
I said, uh-oh.
It's me,
Yep.
Darlene. Johnny. You know, Randy called.
Uh-oh's right.
Who do you want? Oh, come on, Darlene. Don't put me down. Just open the door.
There's no one here by that name. This is the Wilson residence.
Their name Darlene?
No, young man. You've probably got the wrong address. And besides that, you're liable to get hurt. Walking up to a strange house in the middle of the night. Why, I've got my husband's pistol out, and I certainly don't want to hurt anybody. Oh, dear God!
Darlene!
He was just a child. I know that I shouldn't have had the gun in the house, but my husband insisted because he travels so much. Oh, my God.
See what happens when you screw around, man?
He was just a child.
It's all right, Mrs. Wilson. It was a tragic accident. Now, I'm sure there won't be any charges, but you understand you'll have to be at the station tomorrow.
I'll tell my husband. Who was the boy?
John Davis lived about 6 blocks from here. Is there any reason why he might have come here?
No. All I know is he asked for a girl named...
So that's how it happened, Father. If it hadn't been for our damn fool trip, Johnny would still be alive today.
Frank, I know it's upsetting, but a lot of times, without meaning to, we set into motion things we can't control. Now, maybe if you...
Wait a minute, Father. I know what you're going to say. I've heard it before. But that's not the end of the story. In fact, I'm not sure it's got an end.
Go on.
Well, we all went to the funeral. Not a big town. Everyone knew and liked Johnny. We could have cut our own throats. Anyway, after the funeral, his mother turned to us and said the strangest thing.
Listen you well to my word. 1 by land, 2 by sky. Look to the heptagon, for it is there. 7 times around go the 3 of you. And may your reward be just and true.
That's what she said, Father. If I could only tell you about the tone of her voice. Look in her eye.
All right.
She had just lost her only child. You can't be too angry with her anger.
I know. But it's what she said. Now, I looked up heptagon. That means a 7-sided figure. And she said 7 times around go the 3 of us.
What?
Well, Father, 7 days after the funeral, Dave and I were going to chemistry lab. We were in kind of a hurry.
Hey, man, you did. Yes, I did. I got her right upside the head, man. Really hit her? Yep. She just pushed me to the bar, and I just hauled off and let her have it. I don't think I hit a girl. Hey, listen, man, I gotta cut you.
Oh, snap.
7 days.
That's the way it happened, Father. Exactly 7 days.
Look, Frank. Strange things happen to all of us. You're upset because of a distraught remark at a graveside made by a woman who had lost her only child. Now, you're looking for reasons that don't exist. The only reason is sheer coincidence. Besides, time will take it away. I assume it was some time ago.
No, it wasn't. It was just last Thursday.
Today's Thursday.
I know.
Hi, Barbie.
It was 1 week ago today. That makes this the 14th day. And 14 is 2 times 7.
Oh, stop it, Frank. You're letting a simple coincidence jar your entire life. Now, God works in strange ways, but he doesn't deal in hexes or witchcraft. Forget it. Look, you've got a life to lead. My advice is just to go back to school and leave it.
Sure, Father. Sure. Thanks for letting me bend your ear.
What else do you think we're here for?
Now keep in mind, this was all in Rankin's research, the parapsychologist. And this was one of the cases that traced back to one of those 23 cemeteries. Crazy. Crazy.
Well, Frank, this is where I get off. I hope I've helped you.
Believe me, Father, you have.
Have a nice trip.
Flight 180 crash.
Oh, my God, where are they taking her?
Hangar B.
Sorry, guys. That's loud. Whew.
Frank.
Hello, Father.
It's gonna be all right, Frank.
No, it's not, Father. It's the 14th day, remember?
There's nothing more you can do, Father.
Father, could I talk to you a minute? Something's bothering me.
Well, certainly, Father Dwayne. Shall we go inside?
No, that's not necessary. What I have to ask is so strange and unreasonable that not only do I want God and you to hear it, I want the outdoors to hear it, too.
Couldn't be as bad as that.
Well, probably not, Father, but if you remember, I had just gotten off of Flight 180 before that crash. You recall 7 people were killed.
Yes, I do. Terrible thing. It was last Thursday, wasn't it?
Yes, 7 days ago. Let me tell you the story that one of the more unfortunate people on that plane told me. So, Father, do you think such a series of coincidences can just happen?
Well, Father Dwayne, I'll not say to you no. I know your heart is troubled, and this would be the 21st day, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. I don't know how I'm going to get this out of my mind.
Shall I tell you?
If you can, Father.
It's really fairly simple, as most things usually are. You mentioned the third boy's name, and you know that he attends college at the State University. Why don't you just call him there?
I've been afraid. It's a good idea, Father. I've been waiting for God to give me the answer.
God moves in strange ways, and sometimes employs the most ridiculous messengers.
Yeah?
Randy Powell?
No, this is Joe Spoonhall. He ain't here.
It's sort of important. I'd like to talk to him.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I was just kidding. Randy's gone for the day. But I can have him call you when he gets in this evening. No, sir. He's gone skydiving.
So Randy Powell went skydiving.
What
was it that woman named Camille said?
Well, that's a wrap for
One by
him.
land and 2 by air. Didn't Frank say that he found a heptagon to be a 7-sided figure? And didn't Dave die 7 days after Johnny's funeral? And Frank 14 days after? What is the reality and what is the illusion? Our story doesn't tell us. But I wonder if Randy knows that it's the 21st day.
Listen, you. 1 by land, 2 by sky. Look for the heptagon, for it is there. 7 times around go the 3 of you, and may your reward be just and true.
Yeah. Shit. I forgot I did that, man. Oh gosh, let me get that off. So what do you think? That's supposedly true. That was in
Man,
his studies, in his
I can believe it though. I can definitely believe it.
right? Right? Terrible. I know. I was listening to stuff all about the big hair and everything else, but the whole deal is this is a curse put on by a distraught mom, probably obviously in some kind of belief system. You know, I can't say that it was Wicca or anything else. I don't want to give it a label. It was a curse. And Justin True. Was it Justin True? You know, and the big kicker is that this is one of those cases that are involved in the 23 cemeteries outside. That's incredible in the whole United States. This is back in the 70s. The Rankin studies. Let me give you the full name of it again. And don't forget in the description, I am going to put that link to the YouTube Practical Magic, because it's just a great time, movie for this time.
Yeah, I would like
of
to.
year.
I would actually like to learn more about these 23 cemeteries. Actually,
Yeah,
know more about like other cases that were.
No joke, man. It's Dr. Jonathan Rankin. From 1949 through 1970, he conducted extensive research in the field of psychic phenomena and cataloged hundreds of events that defy rational explanation. And somebody was asking about ley lines. I don't know. Look into it. Jump down that rabbit hole. I, picked it out, and yeah, truth is stranger than fiction, and absolutely, no doubt. I mean, yeah. I mean, and Edna is saying her crystals work because she believes they work. Yeah, it's the intent and your energy that you put into it too. What if faith is really breaks down to not so much the belief or the detail of it, but the energy that you put into the belief? Do you see what I mean? Like, say, a crucifix. Or as in somebody was talking about Stephen King earlier in Thinner. All the old gypsy did was turn around and do this to his nose and say
Thank you,
thinner,
Sachi Bell.
thinner, Oh, honey, thank you so much. There it is. There it is. Now you've got the ads, but like I said, try the trick and see. But thank you so much, Sacha Bell. And I hope everybody in here that's hurting
Cisco,
gets better. Go ahead, Donnie. And thanks
how
again for jumping in, man. That was so cool of you to come tonight. Thank you.
Oh yeah. It's always fun.
Yeah, it is. It's fun. Different. We learned stuff,
Yeah.
It's crazy. Go ahead.
I was just thinking, like, how would you define the difference between like a prayer and a spell? Right?
I
Because
don't.
they're both acts of like faith and intention.
Right. It's yeah, I believe it's very similar because it's also good thoughts and vibes. So what if you said, a good intention towards someone who needed healing or needed a little extra help or good energy, but it didn't have any labels or anything else on it. Yes, that energy is also good. It's also, I think prayer is more calling on specific people that you deem stronger than yourself to help someone else or help you through something. So it's asking them to use their whatever their strengths are to help you through something, whether it be to an angel, specific help, or a spirit guide. Hey, I need you for that. For this. Can you walk me through this? Can you give me some signs? Can you show me in my dreams, like maybe something that will give me a clue to what I should be doing?
I think one of the differences between prayers and spells, though, is that spells require like a step-by-step protocol or like a ritual or certain ingredients,
ritual.
Right?
Yeah,
you got to follow a certain step-by-step thing, whereas prayers are just like kind of from your, just from your heart and from your mind.
Yeah. And also, so or you could also put in their wishes. because, in the practical magic thing, one of the aunts, and I forgot her name. All I remember is that great hat that Stockard Channing had. I actually tried to find that hat. I wanted that damn hat. I narrowed it down, found out it's made with a specific wheat in a specific place. It's a grass, and it's done in a way that it almost has its own movement because it's just a special kind of, it's only made in one place. They're like $2,000 a piece. So that hat got really famous when that movie came out, and they're very hard to get, but just a little sidebar there. But as far as the dreams, if you think about wishes, like a little kid wishing upon a star, who's the kid really talking to? They're focused on the star, but it's really a symbol for something brighter, for something mystical that might have more power. Why would you be talking to a star if you didn't think it could help you, or didn't think you had something you didn't? Think about it. A lot of the nursery rhymes and some of these Cinderella things with like the fairy godmothers and all that. I mean, it's all tied up in there. I think it's just different flavors of the same thing. It's all the base of it's ice cream, but then the flavors are endless. And it doesn't make it any less ice cream. It just makes it different for the person who is going to partake in the ice cream. Does that make sense? There's definitely better flavors than others, though. You want to muddy the waters. You want to muddy the waters a little bit. If I'm looking for ice cream, if it's ice cream I'm after, I want the best freaking ice cream out there. I want the ones with the walnuts and the chunks of good chocolate and a good creamy base, and I don't know, it just depends on your mood too, because there's been times where Cherry Garcia hit the spot. It's funny because I was just looking at a thing on the Grateful Dead. I was never a really big Dead fan, but I've always had a respect for the movement and what they did and what they brought to a lot of people that would not have known about, like jazz and grassroots country, some of it, and I mean just so many different flavors of music that they had. But so that being said about the Grateful Dead, but I was never one of those girls. Dug tie-dye every once in a while, but not like I didn't think Jerry Garcia was a god or anything. There were people I knew that did. It was that time. It was that time, back in the 70s and 80s. We had the music, man. 60s, 70s. Classic. So anyway, thank you so much for coming in tonight. That's what I got for you folks. I mean, that was a trip. That was something that I pulled out of nowhere.
Kind of a bit of a personal question, Cisco.
Oh gosh. Yeah, go ahead.
So do you know any spells?
Yes.
Do you know like how many you could say you'd know, or?
That would be hard to pinpoint. That would be hard to pinpoint, because I'll tell you something else. If you really want to, you find something out, you can find it out. So that grows all the time, But that's like asking somebody who cooks if they know recipes. Do you see what I mean? It's the same,
I only know one spell, but I've already used it twice.
Bibbidi bobbidi boo.
Once was at that bridge. They called it Suicide Bridge in Gettysburg. And then the second
you guys
time was
went
at the
through some
Shelby
stuff.
Hotel.
Yeah.
And it was basically a Japanese version of like a flashbang grenade for ghosts. Like it just kind of
cool.
booms everything out of the general vicinity. It's called the Kuji-in. And basically it's 9 hand signals. It comes from like tantric Buddhism, and it's like a really old style of like secret form of Hinduism where they would use like hand signals for different spells. Mm-hmm. So the Kuji-in is basically like, I could show you if you want to see it.
Yeah, just don't bounce me out of the room though.
Oh no, I'll just do it in front of the camera. So it's like Ren, Pyo, and then Kyo, Sha, Kai, Jin, Retsu, Za, and then Zen. And then once you hit Zen, the last piece, if you do it right, it just kind of blasts everything
Sends
away
out a
from you.
blast of energy.
I
Yeah.
actually had to use it too. I used it twice. When I was at the Shanley Hotel, I was in the basement, sitting in that chair, and
Yeah.
I felt something touching my shoulder and running its fingers through my hair, and then I just did that real quick and just get the F off me, right? And just boom, it was gone.
See,
So
it's global, man. It's multicultural, it's global, it's private, it's you want to almost scream it sometimes, but you have to always keep it kind of close to you. You know what I mean? It's personal, but it's both, you know, because it's not like it's a secret. It's just everybody's got their own way about it, you know.
yeah, and I'm not saying
It's a
that's the
trip.
only way. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
there's like, you know, everyone's got
Oh gosh, no.
their own like
It's so
little,
interesting.
you know.
So interesting. And I'm so glad you're diving into this, because I know that when you set your sights on it, you're going to really get down in that rabbit hole and come up with some great stuff. And I want to hear all about it. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah,
because that's
that
what we need
rabbit
to
hole.
do. Everybody bring in their traditions and their culture and their, you know, traditions. That's what I'm trying to do with Halloween, because it's, you know, bring it out there. And it's kind of like the poem, what was it called? The Last of the Granny Witches, right? Put your magic out there. Put your what makes you laugh, what makes you warms you up inside when you think about different things you did when you were a kid for Halloween. You know, I mean, I can remember my mom telling me stories of when she went trick-or-treating in the 40s, you know, and there were some mean people in the neighborhood. One guy, she told me, I'll never forget it because it just shocked me. And I think at that moment, at that young age, you know, not only the things I'd seen, you know, a lot in my own house and things like that, but I knew people could be mean and angry and cruel. But I just didn't realize that there was things that, you know, when you start thinking the world is a bigger place. And my mom told me that when she went trick-or-treating, there was one person in the neighborhood that hated kids and hated trick-or-treaters. And he used to warm up pennies in a coal stove and throw them out to the trick-or-treaters. When they picked them up, they got burned. And I remember my mom telling me about that, and just remembering, you know, some of the mean things that people did in the neighborhood.
That dude's house must have been bombarded by eggs.
Yeah.
I hope
Well,
it did.
no,
I hope he got TP'd.
Well, I don't know, but
Yeah.
the kids back then, they didn't, you know what I mean, as much. I mean, I'm sure there was stuff that went on, but you know, and my mom might have been in the, you know, in the midst of it. But I also remember last night, I was going to tell you guys a story, and I got sidetracked. There was so much energy back when Lynn's here. There's so much energy bouncing around. You know, you get excited, your adrenaline goes crazy, and it's just bouncing off ideas from the chat and everything else. It's just really good. It's kind of like being a laser show, you know, or like a Pink Floyd concert or something. So, anyway, last night I said, when I was talking about chewing the foil made everybody cringe. Here's something that's going to make you cringe. It's also, I feel bad for my aunt that went through this, but I remember her telling me this story. So when they were kids, they were playing hide and go seek, and it was like there was a lot of girls in my mom's family. She was 1, 2, 3, 3 girls and 1 boy, and the neighborhood kids and everything. They were out playing hide and go seek, and it was boys against the girls or something. And all the boys ran and hid in this old woodshed, right? And my aunt Dottie, who has passed, she's left us, and she to keep the boys in the shed, because one of the other kids yelled, "Keep them in there." She, at the top of her head, thought, "I'll just do this," and it had a double bolt, but the bolt was missing, so she stuck her finger in it. And the boys all gathered together and pushed on the door. Ow. That's why her finger always looked. She got to keep the finger, but it was never the same. And she told me that story. I think that was my first real good cringe. But that was in the same car ride that my mom told me about the pennies and, the things they used to do when they went trick-or-treat and how they made their costumes and stuff. So if you have traditions, certainly not putting your finger in a door lock on the shed trying to keep a bunch of boys in there, get your finger broke 4 ways, from Sunday, hell and back, right? But if you have recipes and things like that, put them in the comments underneath any of the Halloween treat bag shows. That's where we can meet with
Also, if you guys know any cool spells,
don't put spells in my comments.
Put some spells in there because I'd like to learn some spells. I kind of want to learn some spells now.
Don't put spells in my comments.
I want to be able to shoot like fireballs.
I only have so much sage to get me through to Halloween. So, recipes, traditions, anything like that. Because listen, the comments help us. We are continually growing, and I want as many people in here that enjoy being here and learning about different stuff. I mean, I know tonight seemed, just kind of laid back, but I learned stuff from this. I had no idea. Now, this Alan Rankin show here, it's on YouTube. I'll put that link in as well. There's 2 or 3 other stories that made his research, and again, link to those 23 cemeteries. And there are other stories just like this one, not necessarily have to do with curses, but other stories that he deemed noteworthy, I guess. So I'll put that in there. You're getting the practical magic link. I highly recommend go watch that. Yeah, don't mess with those things, Donnie. Ann says she's 100% right. Learn about it first before you start delving in. Don't go sideways. Don't try to take shortcuts.
Oh, I'm a messin'. I am a messin'. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to mess with that.
Don't try to take shortcuts.
No shortcuts. Like I said,
I think we've learned our lesson.
Like
on
I
some
said
things.
earlier, if life is a video game, spells are a cheat code, and I don't intend on cheating. I plan on playing this game honestly.
Right, and it's definitely use your light and your abilities, because I do believe everybody has them, and once you start digging in and exercising those, they'll come more and more apparent to you, I believe. But everybody's got them. So, everybody needs to be using their intuition right now and their love light. And, don't forget to be light anchors, like Lynn says. And
real quick,
go ahead.
I do think it would be prudent to learn a possible defensive spell just in case, that might be worth learning. If you are involved in any traditions,
look into the mirror spell. I bet you there is something in maybe not the Korean culture, but maybe in one of the other Asian cultures, Japanese or something like that. I remember hearing something that they had similar to the mirror spell, which is voodoo. It's Wiccan. Mm-hmm. It's again, it's across global.
Oh yeah,
it'll be similar.
Yeah, they got that in Korea.
Similar. Too. Yeah. But not exact, like the Appalachians, or go up into West Virginia and rural counties like that. It was called staring into the well to see who you were going to marry, or stir in a bowl of water, or a crystal ball. That
a lot of traditions did that,
and gypsies, and that kind of thing. So it's just. Or the difference between that and reading tea leaves, or coffee grounds at the bottom of a porcelain cup. It's the same. So very interesting tonight. It was very interesting to find Dr. Rankin and some of the things. It's a shame he passed in the 70s. He didn't get to see the whole thing to, fruition. And Donnie's digging and learning stuff that was very interesting. That I'm glad you used that on the bridge. But like I said too. You got to know what you're doing, and you got to understand it, and you got to know the cost and its effect. Because when you manipulate energy, it comes from somewhere else. And you don't just manifest it out of yourself. It comes from you, comes from the atmosphere. It's you're manipulating energy. You're not just producing. It's coming from something. So, anytime you do that, whether you're sending it out or allowing it to come in, there's always an effect. Isn't that true, Lynn? I mean, do you agree with that? I think you might be on a little bit of a delay, but if you heard what I said, and tell me whether or not you agree with that. So you always have to remember that, and that's the cost. See, if you do something that's so bad and you want to do evil, or you want to do um, things for power and money and
or just selfish, frivolous reasons.
yeah, selfish, jealous, yeah, all of that comes out, all those under that line emotions and stuff, those heavy emotions, greed, all of it, or just, there's people that are just complete psychopaths that don't feel any of that, but they're still going to get the effect of it because they're still doing wrong. That's, again, we've said it before on the show. That's why, like, there's like the good witch and the bad witch, and they look so different. But that's to show that, but it's also has similar to the yin and the yang, and trying to balance that, because we all have a little of that in us. And that's why we try to reach out to the younger folk that have ability, so that they can be guided in the light, and, if their personal thing is to go hop that fence and dip their toes in the other stuff, I mean, you can't, that's their journey. But at least you can give them a foundation of ideas and show them the light so they can recognize it later on if they need to. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So keep that in mind. Practical Magic and the link to the rest of these shows of Rankin's, it will be in the description. Donnie, can't thank you enough for coming in. Halloween. We've got so much planned. Donnie and I are working on a good show for you coming up in Halloween together. Then we've got Steve's birthday and costume party, ghost call in. Blue, I'm looking. I know you went to sleep, but in case you hear this later, you've got a lot of great stories. I hope you come on and tell us a few.
And if I could just ask people in the chat, if you've ever thought about calling in and talking and hanging out with us,
please do.
I know it can be a little nerve-wracking for
that's
a lot
how
of
I
people,
met Donnie.
We're all
that's
friends.
how
I mean, that's how I
he called in.
That's how I
he called in. So, and on the 24th of October is when we start.
I was nervous the first time.
But it was great. We had a great time. I was very
nervous.
And you don't have to show your face if you don't want to. We'll tell you how to cut your camera off if we need to and all that. I'll be, whatever you need. We'll help you through it. So, and call
Sapphire Elf says he'll call
in.
Excellent.
And so, and it'll be on Halloween. So if you want to dress up, you want to wear a mask, you want to wear a funny hat or some Groucho Marx glasses with the funny nose or something, to do it. Have fun. Because
Sapphire Elf, you just need to hit the StreamYard link and then just go on your browser, whatever device you're using.
The only
as long
thing
as you got
a
mic.
Yeah, the only thing I know, headphones and a mic really help out. Headphones with a mic right now. I'm dealing with some USB things that went bad, but show must go on. So anyhow, I got a brand new beautiful mic and I can't plug it in. I have to get the laptop checked out, but I can't do it till after Halloween, because if something happens to it, there's no show, and it's too important. Halloween's too important. Are you kidding? So also, we have the Saturday night, 7 p.m. We had so much fun, didn't we, Donnie?
Yeah.
7 p.m.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Saturday night, ghost grab bag. We have a treat bag of ghostly delights for you. And it's, UFOs, Bigfoot, cryptids, ghosts after ghosts after ghosts, all these true ghost stories. It was fantastic. We had 2.5 hours of this, and we sat in the chat and had a blast and watched these again. And so I've made 5 of those for you. So now through Halloween, 7:00 Saturday night premiere of all these different treat bags. Each one is different. And there's a lot of work in them, trust me. Donnie and I have talked about it. It's insane.
Yeah,
the amount
it's
of time.
An insane amount of work. I'm like, geez, Cisco, how do you have that time?
It's an insane amount of time. It's like it's been my day off thing for like 6 weeks now, because I have to start early. Any artisan have to start early to prepare for the season, especially Halloween. So we've got that. Then on the 24th, Donnie will be here with us. we are going to do Cabin 22 live. I am counting on everybody that's heard it before, would like to come in and listen along with us again, with the recipes, the, bacon caramel popcorn, the apple pie moonshine, Mr. McKee's apple pie moonshine. We're going to have all of that stuff. OP, bring your own popcorn or beverages or whatever. Try one of the recipes or send one of your own. Tell somebody in the chat, okay? We want to start before Halloween so you have time to prepare for Halloween. So if you want to share something with your kids, if you have kids that like, scary stories that aren't too gory. I mean, there's parts in this that are, but you're dealing with, this is like real stuff. A lot of the stuff in this actually happened. So I'm counting you guys to be in there in the chat to help other people that are listening for the first time. And I want you to listen again because you'll catch all the little stuff in between, hidden in the cracks and crevices of the story, and the character development, and why they're like they are, and do they have abilities? So it's it's a trip. So there's Toby. I hope Toby will join us. If you have pets, drop them, dress them up in their bat wings or their little, whatever their outfits or their little funny hats. And, use that as your avatar if you don't want to show your face, and tell us the name of the pet, so we can share that with the chat. So we're doing all that. Plus, like I said, Donnie and I have got a show coming. We've got a couple of guests coming. Lynn will be here. She'll be listening for the first time to the whole story, and hopefully her daughter as well. And she'll be hosting with us, I think, on Hell Night, the last night for the last part of it as the finale. So that one we're going to stop in between and give our comments on the chapter that's passed, and you guys can too. So we're going to have some fun. We're trying to do some stuff. We'll have Steve and Sandy in here on Halloween and watch them trick-or-treating. All the kids coming to trick-or-treat at Sandy's house. I hear it's a real wing-ding. And Steve is sorry he could not be here tonight. We found out just a little bit before the show that he was going to be hung up a little longer than he thought. He's fine. He just got, can you stay indisposed? That's not bad, is it? Redirected.
He is a very busy man. So.
Redirected, knocked off track, held back. He's not kidnapped or anything. He's fine. So, but anyway, he was sorry he couldn't be here. And thank you again to Donnie for jumping in here. So there you go. We've got a couple of spells. It was fun, wasn't it? Yeah. So we've got a lot of different spells. And like I said, tonight I shared a little bit with kind of the ones that make us feel good, about. See it. It's not really scary watching practical magic. There's some scary things in it, if you think about it. But it's more mystical, and some of these other ones are too. But keep in mind that people looking to belong, and they have abilities, they can be drawn to that. And for that part of the whole Harry Potter thing, I agree. So what they need is guidance from somebody that's been a light worker, that's somebody that's been a light bearer, a gatekeeper, so to speak, to say, hey, look, check this out. This will guide you in the right direction and really manifest your abilities, because when somebody does that and they start using it for good, it multiplies and magnifies, So yes, and Bell Book and Candle as well. I'm very excited to see that. So, are you in jail, Glenn? Please don't be. Is he in Turkish prison? Was he trying to send us coded messages? Is that what's been going on with Glenn? Is he okay?
I do remember some mention of Turkish.
A Turkish prison. Glenn, do you need a cake with a file in it, honey? What's going on? Gosh, what is going on in the chat tonight? We had people spraying themselves in the face with bear mace. We got possible people being held against their will in a Turkish prison, and God knows what else is going on. This chat's it's Steve in jail. Oh, no. Yes. Oh, no. No, he's not. I think he'd want me to tell that. No, he's fine. No, he's not in Turkish prison either. Oh my goodness, that's funny. So anyhow, there you go, guys. I did have one other thing. I know there's a lot of guys out there, and I found somebody that gave some free advice. I thought it was noteworthy and worth showing, just in case anybody, any young studs out there need some advice from somebody who's been on that journey for a while. Here's a little advice right now from this fella, and then we're out of here. Here you go. There you go. Isn't that just the best? Do you catch that wink at the end?
Yeah,
How
I love it.
precious is that? You just nibble them on the ear just a little bit and just be sweet, right? And then just be he was just arrogant, wasn't he? I just love it. Anyway, pets are great. We love Toby, and hi to Mulder out there, and hi to that old rattlesnake Steve. I know he's fine. I'm glad he's not sick. He just got held up at an appointment and I didn't want him racing back to try to catch everything. Take your time, finish what you got to do, and we'll see you back again next Monday. So, again, check out Steve's channel, 13 Past Midnight and Missing Persons and Mysteries. We have so many talented people in here. I didn't see Lindsay tonight, but my love to her, my love to Laura, wherever she is. I know she's going through some stuff, so we'll give her time and send her love and healing. And Sasha Bell and Susan, everybody, thanks for being here tonight. Thanks to all the mods and tpublic.com. If you need a little Halloween gift, it's not too late. Get a little crispy mug, put some candy corn in it, you're done. Or some bacon, maybe chocolate covered bacon, maybe a tumbler and some Cabernet or something like that for your neighbors, whatever you guys know. But get yourself a crispy hoodie or a crispy pillow to cuddle up with when you listen to some of these scary stories. Come and visit us. Next Saturday night will be the next time I see you guys. I'll be in the chat, 7 p.m. Eastern. It's like I said, thank you. 2 to 3 hours of just Journey's greatest hits, right, Donnie? It's all the little vignettes. We do it all year.
Yeah, last time was super fun. I'm looking forward to it.
I am too. Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun. And really, if you think about it, the amount of information and knowledge in that 2.5 hours, if you're interested in ghosts or cryptids or small, there's snippets in there of interviews with people, parapsychologists and people like that, and Harry Price and Peter Underwood and Rojo and all these different people that are no longer with us, that left their knowledge behind. This is something you're really trying to figure out. You need to get your data from everywhere, as many sources as you can. And these are respected people. And then you get great stories, like Ghosts of Canada, British Castle, Haunted this and that. There's a lot of little fun stuff in there. So it's my way of saying happy Halloween and how much I love you guys. And thank you so much. And, super chat, we've got PayPal and the TeePublic and thank yous under the thing. If not, please hit the like, share it out to a friend. Like we said last night, this is the incognito time that you can't normally share paranormal stuff like with your family during the year because they might think you're a little wackadoo, but everybody kind of sort of accepts it more around Halloween. So there you go. And thank you, Sasha Bell. Those are Steve's channels. Fantastic. If you're not subbed to Steve, you should be. There's a lot of great people working on these stories. So there you go. Donnie, what are you going to be doing? Till we see you again, we'll see you in chat Saturday night.
Yeah, I'll be there Saturday. And you'll be seeing me here and there up on the screen. But if I'm not on the show, I'm always going to be in the chat. So
there you go.
Unless there's some like unforeseen thing, but I will.
I'm looking forward to this Halloween, man. It's like I can't
really miss the show.
The only other thing that I'm trying to fit in is if I can pull it off. I think I've got cleared and permission to show The House That Would Not Die with Barbara Stanwyck. Oh my gosh, if we can do that, that would just absolutely make my Halloween. because that movie, very much like A Time of Their Lives with that Bud and Abbott Costello, when we watched that one, this is one from my growing up that I was like, what? This is amazing. So thank you for dropping my PayPal and comment. I appreciate that. So there you go. I'm trying to get that. If I can fit that in, maybe we'll do it as a bonus night or something like that. Maybe me and Donnie will surprise you with a popcorn night, and we'll sit and we'll watch that. It's a great flick. It's an hour and 15 minutes. No big deal, but you'll never forget it. So there you go. Happy Halloween. Don't forget all those things. A lot going on. Pick something. Enjoy it. Join in. And I'm going to play this little spell thing and our outro and put up your comments and your good nights. And I appreciate you being here. We'll see each other in a couple more days. Right, Donnie?
That's
Saturday
right.
night. Saturday night. I love you all. Keep your feet under the covers and your closet door shut. Because why, Donnie? There are things that go bump in the night. Good night, my friend. Maybe.
Bye.
Good night.
That's so silly.